Okay, so we have the first demo from Spencer. We're going to troubleshoot a little bit at first. So Spencer, you can share your screen and we can try and figure out how to get your interview running.
So, I should be better at Zoom than I am. Here we are. So the problem that I ran into was the normal, where'd it go? Playground couldn't be reached that I've been accessing through apps-devs.suffolklab, that one?
Yep.
So Michelle sent me a different link, and I had to sign up for a new account. I don't know if it was the testing server or what it was.
Yeah, this is the testing server. It looks like the dev server went down.
Oh, fun. Okay.
I knew it somehow involved a testing server. I wasn't sure which one went down. All I knew was production wasn't down, so that made me happy.
Gotcha.
So now are you able to save and run? Is that something that you can do?
I am, and I think I did it right. There's a few screens that I've never seen before today, so that was fun to see. So I will point those out when we go through.
Okay, good.
That was a shock. But yeah, I think we can save and run and do that.
Okay.
It's been a day.
Okay, let's have a look. Starting
Yes.
demo.
So we have our normal first thing. One thing I noticed on that last run through is I need to fix A to and because grammar.
Henry?
I'm just wondering now if there's a nicer way. I'm not doing language actually, sorry. Okay. This looks pretty standard.
So then the start of our form, just explaining what the form's for, involves parents of a child involved in guardianship using this to request a lawyer to be appointed for them.
So the first thing I will point out is that I noticed that your page ID is null. So if you just make a note to update those page IDs, it can just be anything descriptive. We usually use all lowercase and just spaces, no dashes or underscores. You'll see as we go through, when you get asked a basic question, you'll see what the kind of page IDs are used, are styled like. And the page IDs are quite important because it's nice when you're making issues to be able to refer to your page IDs. And it's also nice for when you're testing, if an issue comes up on a screen, it's easy to identify. So that's why we use those.
Okay.
So you'll see, I'll point out when you get to a basic question what the page ID should look like. So like this one would be like intro screen or something like that. And it's something that only we'll see and testing will see, but when you're on the production, it doesn't show up anymore. Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, they're just really helpful for finding things.
And they don't change, that's the thing, whereas everything else can change on that screen.
Okay. And so then name of child, because this is a
Greek child?
I have saved answers and they're my actual information. So
Your name is Artemis?
No. If I ever have a daughter, her name's gonna be Artemis. Because I'm that sort of classicist.
That poor child.
Artemis is a lovely name.
It's
but like if anyone,
I knew Artemis growing up.
It's a great name. I'm just teasing.
It's a great name, but what happens if someone finds her in the woods and then, it's
only
not going to go well.
That doesn't sound like it's going to go well, whatever happens, David. So.
Yeah.
Both.
So this is one of the screens that I've never seen before.
Okay.
So I don't know if that was from how I set it up in the first place or...
No. So this is something that gets triggered when basically the user role hasn't been set. So is this a case, maybe Kate could step in, is this a case where the user might be plaintiff or defendant?
Always respondent.
So to fix this...
I think we can, for this technical issue, that's easy enough. We can just tell them offline and we can keep going with the review because it's not a
Yeah,
okay.
you're just going to set a variable equal to something, and then it won't need to ask this question because it know the answer.
Maybe we'll show you how.
Yeah,
She knows the deal.
Okay. And this one, I think it made its own page versus the standard. And I'm realizing that because of null.
Yeah. So that
Only
should
thing
be
I
a-
did different was, oh, sorry, go ahead.
That should be a basic question. I'm not sure why that one.
Okay. I think-
You said the only thing you did different, was there something that you wanted?
Oh, I changed this to non-required. That was the only real thing I changed on the screen from. I think what happened was when I went through and prepared the document, I used different variables than I should have, and so it just made its own question versus versus importing a question we already have.
Mhm.
This paired with the other issue makes me think that, yeah, there might be an issue with the variable naming.
Okay.
Yeah, at some point I'd like to suggest making a kind of template that people can start from when they're making things, interviews without the wizard. But sorry, I've been meaning to say that for a while, but just never was convenient.
One thing that's worth adding, though, is that the wizard handles docx files now, so there's not
Oh, okay.
That's
But
true.
yeah,
no
that's-
longer the same
that's
dichotomy,
fair.
but it's still a
That's
good idea.
fair.
Models are always helpful, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So this could actually be a basic question. So this is going to be type of something that we're going to have to resolve.
Mm-hmm.
Later. Yeah, that's good.
This is another one of the screens that popped up today.
Same issue as the plaintiff one.
Yeah. There's no one else on my side. Same thing.
Just for ease of getting through this, you should always select business or organization because it's only one required
okay.
field. But I'm not sure in this case if there actually would be a business, Kate.
No.
Mm-mm.
So this is something where you'd want to remove business.
Well, we'll talk about how to deal with it. This
Right,
is
but
a
he needs
similar
to know
kind
that
of
he
stuff.
needs to remove it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
does, yeah.
Okay.
Can we zoom back just an instant? Do you have a template of the final document that you could just share with us real quick so we have an idea of what it was we were looking to throw stuff into?
Yeah. Oh wait, I shared
On the
mine.
right application, is that on the right there? Yeah, that one. Is
Oh
that
yeah,
it?
I did
Yeah.
fill out one. Okay, so this is what it ends up looking as. I did this morning. And so there's really no option for it to be a business. I don't know if when I pulled it over in the like emergency last like switch or Rooney, that's what caused it.
It's all the same thing. That's a basic question.
Yeah.
Or well,
So-
they're related issues. I'm not going to say the same thing. But
Yeah. So I will make a note to work on that to fix that.
Yeah, so people have done it before, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's just a case of coming to us and
Spencer,
we'll help you.
did you put any page IDs on any of your questions?
No, I did not.
So, well, one thing is it's kind of a clue for you so that everywhere you see a page ID in your interview, that's that's a way of keeping track of all the ones that you have to double check and make sure they're working the way you want them to work. I
We
think
might
that
want to
may-
think if we want to append or prepend like a symbol or a letter to basic questions so that that'll be true even when
It's a good idea.
know the rest of the time.
Mhm.
It's easy to identify.
Yeah, it's a really good idea, Michelle.
Thanks. I'm not going to remember it. I'll try and write it down.
Court should be limited
Open
here.
issue.
And I think I thought I just did juvenile and family, but I am seeing some superior.
Yeah, we want to get rid of
Not
district and
saved.
superior.
So it
why
should
is that
only
not
be-
doing that?
What was that, Kate? It should
Probate.
only- probate
Probate
and-
and, I think juvenile as well.
we should
I
probably,
think it's a probate form, but it could probably be used in a juvenile case.
we should probably be using the court selector here.
This page ID is confusing.
I think it is. That is a little confusing. This is definitely using the court selector, but there are no matches because of the address that Spencer put in, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I probably should have chosen someplace within the jurisdiction of
Massachusetts.
anywhere near Massachusetts.
That was an issue that we were running into.
This makes me think about error state, though. So we should have a good failover state for that.
Yeah.
That was an issue
And there
that we
will
had.
be, there probably will be people, you put in, I forgot what address did you put in?
I put in Aurora because that's where yeah.
No, I mean, I'm sorry. What I mean is, what address is it asking for? What was the question?
No, what she's asking is what address did you put in as your address, I think.
No, I'm asking.
No, she's asking what was the type of address. Although
Maybe
Caroline can just answer for herself.
Yeah. So I'm saying that the address that the interview asks for, is it what your user address is? What you?
Whose
No,
address is it asking for?
it asks for the parent who's doing it, and I don't know what happened when I pulled it over to the between servers, but that question used to be before this. And it would just be like,
Have you put an address in already and I just missed it?
I don't think I did. I don't know what's happening with the order because
I see. Okay.
this is very different from what.
So it doesn't even
was
have an
happening
address
yesterday.
yet, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and yesterday I had the court set to just juvenile. So there's a lot that
Yeah.
for some reason is being weird, and I don't know
Okay.
what is the dealy-do with that.
It's not, it shouldn't just be juvenile, it should be juvenile and
Oh,
probate.
juvenile and probate. Okay, I will make sure to change that as well.
I think there's a
Yeah.
couple things.
There we go.
Yeah, this was supposed to be before it and has been.
Yeah.
But this is
I
also
think
something
there
that
are a
should be a
couple
basic
things,
question.
funky things happening with basic questions that we
Yeah, there's
check out. So
funky
some of
stuff
it may
going
be
on
on our end.
And I think it also is just the fact that I kind of screwed up the variables when I did the wizard. And so when I made the questions, it just made questions from when I had it in, pulling the basic ones. And I went back.
We
go
can
ahead.
equally take blame, I think.
Okay.
I think we can figure this part out a little later. Let's review the
Okay.
content a bit more.
Okay.
So yeah, this should be a basic question. And then maybe just, sorry, going forward, maybe just use Massachusetts addresses because mine
No.
looks like,
For the parent,
You can't, I don't think you can.
parents can live they can live out of state.
We need to throw an error state in there for the court selector in regards to, can someone do an issue on that for out of
What?
Massachusetts?
Well, but we
What
would
would be
be
the
able to
error
use
state?
out of
Just,
state
well, just,
addresses.
I feel like, well, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm expecting. Like just something
You
that
want to
says
see
you've
the map.
entered a non-Massachusetts address.
address.
We can't help you find the court. Please choose from this really long list.
Mhm.
Oh, I see.
So you just want
And then there
different
should probably be
wording.
guidance. Yeah, but there should also be guidance, right? Because like, if someone's doing it, they're doing it because there's some Massachusetts jurisdiction. So Kate or Caroline, is that based upon the residence of like the other party or the residence? I mean, where is?
It's
all
based
courts
on
in
the resident-
Massachusetts?
It's based on the minor. Parents absolutely can be out of state. Every case I've had with these has had an out-of-state parent for some
No,
reason.
but
So
Yeah.
I'm guessing like if they were trying to figure out what court it was in, there's gotta be some rule for deciding which of those courts it is.
The home state of the minor
So we should add a question that asks for the home
or
state.
home area of the home county, whatever of the minor.
but then we need to,
And the court selector can use whatever address we provide it. So we just have to tell it on this particular form. Spencer, I don't think we really even have documentation about how to do that, but you can tell the court selector what address to use to look it up. And we would need to add a question that, as Kate says, what is the home?
It also might like not be though, because this could be like a subsequent action where the minor's like moved, but you're still filing in the county of the original.
So the case was the first.
So in the
case.
case, this is always in response to a case that's filed. So it's just wherever the case is.
That's a good point.
and
So
we
that's
can
a good-
add pretty easily, I'm gonna just plug this one more time, the ability to make we could add a template string that people could make a template with the image of their form that could appear on the court question if they wanted to. So just gonna plug that one more time. I know people haven't
Yeah,
been
well,
super in favor of it, but
I don't think we're opposed to it. I think we just need a solution that works and that scales to all the different issues like that we have. So
so
probably
we
it's
can
not part of
just do that
Spencer's
one for
conversation
that
now.
issue, right?
Let's postpone that conversation for later.
Is
It's a
this,
good idea. I just don't think we have to decide it right now.
is this
Sure,
question
I didn't mean to
set?
open
they
a
want
can of worms
everybody to
here.
write their own court questions. Okay,
No.
go ahead. Sorry, David.
I didn't want to open a can of worms here. I just think that there should be some language if you put as to help clarify for someone who is faced with a list of 100 selections, help them figure out what that selection is. And if it's as simple as this is the court and the existing matter, so just find that on the form.
Yeah,
That's fine.
because they
I
should
just-
have been
just some-
served with something that will have the
Yeah.
court on it.
So just some framing right now. So
First of all, sorry, just a couple of things on the screen.
I think that there are multiple things, right? Like
There's a
longer term solution, which I think we eventually want to think about as far as error state and maybe also options to show images if we can figure out something to scale on stuff. But for an immediate MVP, we just need to frame it that, it's like, okay, you have 100 choices. How do you narrow that down? Oh, well, you don't have free reign to just choose any of these. Choose the one that's the matter.
Sorry, just on the screen, I was thinking that, so the 2 dashes need to be removed next to mother and father. And then also, can we make these questions, the boxes short as opposed to long? Does that make sense? Like just from a
Yeah,
UX.
if you'd have to add a label to that field instead of using the no label form. But yeah, I mean, I think that's easily handled. There's some language you could add there, like, so choose the one that matches you, or I don't know how you would rephrase the question a little bit so you can fit a label in there, and that'll.
Well, that
that's a
was
good
my
point.
third question is the option on the form binary? Is it mother or father? There's no option for anything else.
It is.
It is.
We do handle that differently on the 209A, which I think might be a good example of how to handle it. I mean, is it okay to just leave that unchecked if neither option fits? That's what we chose on the 209A.
I mean, you have to have something. You're only entitled to counsel if you are the parent. So you need something, and this is what's filling in for, this is where you're indicating that you're the parent on the form.
You could add language here that says pick the one that fits you best.
You could have father, mother, parent.
And then you would fill
Just
in
write
your,
in
add your
parent.
own box.
I kind of like that. If it really is like that's the only way you can indicate you're a parent, I just like the idea of writing in parent as a field on the form.
Yeah, if you can write it in, that's awesome.
Well, let's see what Kate says, but that's what
Yeah, I think that's fine. You just need some way of indicating to the court that you're the parent.
Cool.
Given that, we should probably give people a choice.
Of just, are you the parent or are you not the parent?
No, I mean,
I think
No.
that's
Let people
default to
say
the
mother and
form.
father if they want to. But
I think father, mother, other parent.
What does this actually look like on the form? Could you just navigate back to the form, please, Spencer?
Absolutely, yeah. So it's just these 2 boxes right now.
Okay.
So if we wanted to add that, I can work on adding that. Yeah.
So
what do you think, Kate, if we just replace, because I'm just trying to see where you would fit parent.
Yeah.
We got rid
Yeah.
it's okay.
What just whispers?
So if we got rid of that and just had it fill in the word instead of saying mother/father checkbox.
For all people or just for people who select the third option?
Well, we can't really, we have to choose, like, do we try to fit in a text box above mother and father? Or do we replace the checkboxes with a fill-in text field? And then we would type in mother, father there for the people. We still give them 3 radio buttons.
Okay.
Just wondering the best way to choose the form.
I like that, yeah.
And the checkbox wouldn't be necessary at that point, or do you think it would be confusing?
No, I like what you without the check boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of cool that Mass Courts is so far behind technologically that they don't, like, if they OCR'd their forms and we changed their forms, it wouldn't work, right? Because they'd be looking for check boxes and we'd be putting text boxes in. So it's kind of good that they put so little data in.
So you mean if they have like a system that was.
Yeah.
We are building the landscape. Ha, ha, ha.
So we're not gonna put other parent, we're just gonna put parent, right?
Yeah, father, mother, parent.
Yeah,
Probably, right?
if you put other parent, I think it'd be confusing. What we might say is parent might be green, and we might say if you don't feel comfortable saying, you could put a note in and say, if you're not comfortable saying your mother or father, you can pick parent or something like that. Because I know some people are going to say, I'm the mother, but I'm also the parent. Why is this?
Right,
People who aren't binary, aren't sort of gender sensitive or aware will get confused. So I think we need to add a little, we can put parent and then a little note about why we're adding parent.
I think we could look at how we handled it on the 209A, although it's a little bit different.
So yeah, it's a little bit
We gave a lot more
different on
context,
209A.
and this doesn't really seem like mother, father. I mean, what about just saying non-binary parent? Calling it out more explicitly, or are there other people who wouldn't feel comfortable calling themselves mother, father? Do you need to be, like, what other parental relationships might qualify where someone wouldn't consider themselves to be the mother or father? Because that maybe implies an adoptive or biological relationship. Are there other relationships where you could be requesting this on behalf of the child?
You must be the parent. You must be, like, in the eyes of the law, the parent.
Our guardian wouldn't work, step parent wouldn't work.
No, this is like very strict.
We make just like,
parent seems
are
like
you, what if we,
That doesn't,
I'm not sure that.
feels entirely right to me. I'm not sure. I mean, this is something we could ask for people what they think is best, but it feels like otherizing. I don't know.
Could we just do parent?
Is it like,
Could we ask at some point, are you parent?
and then if they just say yes, we just write in parent. And then
Well,
if you
I
say
mean, the
no,
other
you say,
thing
this
is
is not
that
for you.
we can say to get this, to get the court to pay for your attorney or whatever, you need to be the parent of of your child. Are you mother, father, parent, or are you? I mean, we can, if we have a little bit of explanation, I think we're fine with just putting parent, but we just have to clarify for people who aren't aware what parent is, that it's not what, that it's another option for people who don't want to pick mother or father.
What about doing, like,
Just saying, you didn't
a
have to do
show
anything,
with?
because everyone could be a parent.
Yeah, I don't think the court is going to love this.
I don't love that.
Because, like, they kind of throw it in mass courts. Like, if you have two parents involved in the case, they're shorthanding it in mass courts as, like, counsel for father, counsel for mother. I think it is going to mess with their record keeping, I think. Just how and it's kind of, so I think we don't want to default to that option unless it's like.
Yeah.
What about doing like, are you the minor's parent? Yes, no. No ends the interview. Yes, does a show if on father, mother, other parent.
Say that again, Kate. Can you say that again?
2 questions. First, are you the parent? No ends the interview. Yes is a show if to father, mother, other parent.
Or non-binary parent, probably.
Right,
Right.
right now you've got
strictly. I don't know if, like, saying non-binary parent.
If they've already answered that they are the parent, then I think they'd only, like, we don't need non-binary because they are already.
Well, they need you could say mother, father. You don't want to say none of the above. The point is that you need to pick. This is what Kate's saying about not defaulting to other parent.
No.
What you want to do is you want to get mother and father. And if you say, yes, I'm the parent, and you don't pick, you want to really force people to pick mother or father.
I'm saying regarding Quentin's suggestion of other parent or non-binary parent, we know that they're already the parents. We're not, like, the wording doesn't have to worry about whether they're the parent or not because they are the parent. It could be mother, father, non-binary.
I don't think you can assume somebody might be non-binary and still identify as the mother or father.
Yeah.
Like, they could be the person who gave birth,
that's,
but a non-binary trans man who identifies as a man in a non-binary sense.
I just really try to avoid the word other. So that's what I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think non-binary is gonna
But what I'm saying
encompass
is,
it.
yeah, okay.
I mean, you could
I
have
don't know, I
like a
lost the word.
sentence or something that
What if,
says,
what if it was just mother, father?
Prefer to be listed as parent, solely as parents.
Oh, there you go.
yeah,
Just tell people
yeah,
what the
yeah,
consequence is.
that's,
I like
that's
that.
exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So,
So again, to go back to page
And
And you
10,
can explain
And it also could be some explanations, like on the court form.
they asked for either this or this. Mother, father, they listed as just
so on kind of taking a step back, I just want to make sure that you said people would be annoyed if the person was just parent instead of mother or father. Would that bias anybody? Would that annoy anybody enough that they would be like annoyed with the person themselves?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
In which
They're
case,
nasty.
in which
Anything
case,
that makes
they
the clerk's
nasty.
job harder annoys them.
Yeah,
but in which case are we setting people up for a more difficult case because we're allowing them to annoy the court?
I don't think it's at that point. I think the issue is when when you file, you have to deal with the clerks, and the clerks give you a hard time. I think once you get in front of a judge, then it's a different, it's not going to make your case harder, but it's going to make your experience harder. And your experience is harder right now if you don't fit the stereotypical molds.
Yeah.
So
Okay, as long as it's not going to make their case less likely to go through or something. I just
right,
wanted
no,
to
we're
make
not
sure
talking,
of that.
yeah.
And then also in the paper form,
I suspect some of these people might be scratching out and putting in parent.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to make sure they can.
So we're just trying to, yeah, we're
We're
just
trying
trying
to
to replicate
Yeah.
the
So-
paper.
I have one more question, which is if this is a kick-out screen, should it come earlier?
That's a good question.
If we have the screening parent question.
Yeah, that's got to come up right at the very beginning.
Right. That's a good point, Michelle. So I think the first important thing is that we need to make this a kick-out screen. And as Kate suggested, we have that question of, what was the question that you said, the first question?
Are you
Like
the parent?
Are you the parent?
Yeah, because I'm worried that giving this like third option is going to encourage like step parents to try to use this
Yeah.
form, which
Mhm.
they just don't qualify.
And so we need some kind of explanation there, as you said, in the sub question.
Is there a definition that could be shared, a plain language definition of what parent means if step parents don't qualify?
I mean, it seems like it's probably biological or adoptive parent, right?
Yeah.
Those are the choices. So we can probably just list those two
Yeah.
and say. And then I actually just taking a twist on what you were saying, David, if it said in the question text, like, what do you need to say that whether you are the parent of the child, what should be written on the form where it says your relationship, mother, father?
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
That
I
is
mean,
the
keep the options
wording.
first.
I think the definition
is
is
awesome.
what's
I
on the
really
current
like
birth
that.
certificate.
Right, you have to be on
It's the birth certificate parents, whether that's by adoption or birth. I think even the father, if they're not adjudicated, doesn't count, or if they're
Right,
not
well,
on the birth
yeah.
certificate.
Sure.
But I don't know if we need to get into that.
Right.
So maybe just listing the choices biological and adoptive would be enough.
Welcome, Michael. We're still
Knee deep in our demo, as expected.
Okay, so
And Spencer, did you catch all that?
We did.
Parent question, and then
The new language from Quentin on the second.
Yeah.
it is
Nice.
recorded as well, so you can also review this at your
Leisure.
leisure.
eh?
Okay, what's up next?
And then do you want to, this is the fee waiver question. With meeting with Kate, we added some green text for what indigent, that word means.
I know.
Indigenous.
No, indigent.
No,
Indigency.
indigency
Ah,
and whether you are
It
indigent.
always
go.
gets me
I
as
was like,
well.
what the heck could this be? Okay. Can't see it.
Indigent.
Too small.
What was that?
Oh, I just realized I was muted with my pronunciation, and that's why people said it again.
Aw.
I'm like, that's what I said.
It is what you said. It's fair. Okay.
And then docket number
They will have the docket number because they are responding, right? That's the.
They should.
Hopefully they do.
Kate, is this a case where they might have multiple docket numbers?
Yeah, because there could be multiple guardianship. Every kid has their own guardianship.
Cool.
So I was saying, I think I said on the admin channel the other day, maybe this is a question Aubrey could develop.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because we were talking about a different way to do this with just a text area.
Normal day. Work.
Thanks for the dev server, Quentin.
And then so filling out correctly so far. Sign on computer. Beautiful signatures.
Aubrey or Mia that does a perfectly straight horizontal line. Every
Mia, every time. I think it's a sign that, you're crazy. If you wasn't you have hairs on the palm of your hand? What is that thing?
And then this is the final page that I have, the normal next steps, and here's your form, and go ahead and mail it to yourself, sort of stuff.
Is this your screen? Call the court to determine if they're accepting forms electronically, or is that a basic? Okay, all right.
That was me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in theory, this one, I think they will accept electronically, right? It was on their list.
I don't know if it was it on their list?
Let's look.
I can't imagine that we would have done it if it weren't. Well, I'm sorry. I don't remember the
Well,
instructions for
doing
adding
it
it.
was.
Guardian's packet, so I think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they requested guardianships in general. I think it should be on their list. I think
Certainly
we kind of
should
just
be.
picked it because it was a very simple form.
Yeah.
So we need to customize these next steps and the
Petition
place
for
area.
appointment of guardian of a minor and motion. That was one of their forms.
So this should go along with it.
I think, yeah, it's part of that case, certainly.
If you think about it, yeah.
So that also means you can change the ending to be a
Submit to
email to the
court.
courts. Yeah.
So what we'll do
Yeah, I think
then,
in good faith, you can at least try to see if the court will take it by email.
so then Spencer, what you need to do is you need to insert that submit to court code, and we can point you in the right direction if you struggle to come across that.
Okay.
So right now where we're at, I think, is we've done the first pass, and I think you've done a really good job, Spencer, especially because you've kind of done this a lot by
Agreed.
yourself. So it's very impressive, and I think that what we'll do now is when we get off this call, I'll upload this video, and I'll timestamp it as well, so you can just, if you need any clarity on anything that might have been discussed, you can then have a look at that, and then you can reach out to us. I've already made a note that I'm going to send you how to submit the role, which should stop that are you starting or responding question from appearing. And then you've taken some notes as well, so you can then ask us if and when you get stuck. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing the next iteration.
Nice work.
Really good
Thank you.
job, Spencer.
Nice, very nice.
Where'd my
Okay,
comments go?
so now I'm going to stop the recording.